Okay, Jeanette, what would you like to talk about today?
Well, I have kind of a lot of things on my plate right now. The holidays are coming up, and that's, of course, very stressful in itself. My family does not get along. They fight all the time.
Okay.
My parents constantly are at each other's throats, and
Okay.
it's just, what are we going to do for that for the holidays? It's just really stressful.
Now, when you say your family is at each other's throats all the time, is that brought out in the holidays, or is that just...
Yeah. I mean, it's mostly because we're all together.
Okay.
Um,
All right.
yeah.
Is there a history of conflict in your family?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Can you tell me more about that?
I think my mom and dad just were constantly fighting as we were growing up, and so we saw that
Okay.
all through our younger years, and I guess we probably kind of learned it, and they didn't really teach us to love each other because they weren't, so I guess we just witnessed it throughout our life. So
Okay. And you mentioned there are a lot of things on your plate. Can you kind of explain what you mean by that?
well, just everything that's going on. So there's that coming up, and then stress concerning whether or not I should go back to school. There's just a lot of things to think about for that, being a single mom and having 3 kids and
Absolutely.
working 2 jobs already. When am I going to fit that in? So there's that.
Okay. Okay. So, what jobs are you currently working at?
I clean houses, but I have my own houses, and then I work for someone, so.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right, so
it's not a very fun job.
Okay.
It's very physical, so it's exhausting. And it's cleaning, It's not the most glamorous.
Okay.
I'm a little bit of a germaphobe, so germs. I don't do germs either, so I like to just get away from that, but plus being around chemicals all the time, it can be good for you to breathe in that all the time, so. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that definitely can stress the body, and when you're doing something that you don't enjoy. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being you don't like your job at all, and 10 being you just absolutely love your job, how would you rate whether or not you are satisfied in your job right now?
Probably a 3.
3? Okay. What does a 3 look like for you?
See, it's weird for me because cleaning is also my release. It's like my, that's how I get frustrations, and I'll just get busy and start cleaning everything. But, so in that sense, it's kind of like it's stress relieving for me, but not to where I want to do it all the time. Or other people's messes. So.
Yeah, that's not always fun.
No.
So where would you like to be on that scale, would you say?
I would love to be a 10, but that's not going to happen at the job that I'm at. So that's why going back to school is just something I'm considering. So.
Okay. All right. So what does that specifically look like for you?
Going back to school?
No, being a 10.
Just love going to work every day, and I love to have a job where I can actually help people and be with people. I mean, cleaning, I'm by myself all the time. And just having more of a work atmosphere of having coworkers and more community type, whereas, rather than just being alone.
Okay.
Building friendships and relationships with people. And
yeah, absolutely, because you want to have that relationship aspect as well. That can definitely be very gratifying.
Yeah.
So going back to the issue you were talking about with your family, can you just describe that a little bit more so I can understand kind of what you're experiencing in that?
I don't know. I guess my parents just are constantly bickering. tearing each other down. Sometimes they will actually drag us into it and want us to take sides. They've talked of divorce before, but I don't know. I don't even know why they're together.
Okay. How does that make you feel when they fight and bicker?
I just want to walk away from it. I don't like confrontation or anything like that, so I just prefer walking away, and I mean, it doesn't make me happy to hear it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's sad, but of course children want to see their parents loving each other. But
do you feel like it puts you in an awkward position when they do that?
yeah, I mean, who wants to sit there and witness that? Or when they want us to take sides, it's like, well, we love them both. And yeah, maybe we would be favoring one side over the other, but we're not, we don't want to go against the other parent. That's not, kids aren't supposed to have that choice or be expected to do that, so.
Yeah. Do you feel like their influence has caused you to have negative feelings and interactions with some of the relationships you've experienced?
Yeah, I mean, it's given me fear of being in a relationship myself, because what if that happens to me? What if I get in a relationship and that's how we interact, and I don't want that? So it's kind of a fear, and like I don't want to maybe get in a relationship, and kind of made me hesitant in that way.
Okay.
So
now, let's say a miracle happened tonight, Jeanette, when you went to bed, okay? And while you were sleeping, a miracle occurred regarding your parents. When you woke up, how would you know your life was different, and what would that look like?
Waking up to my parents talking kindly to each other. My siblings just all getting along and having a nice time together and enjoying each other's company.
Yeah. That's definitely a wonderful goal. So, Jeanette, you've talked a lot about how you noticed how unhealthy your parents' relationship is. And I just want to say that's really awesome. It definitely shows that you can see when something is unhealthy and that you want to do better. So I just want to commend you for that, Jeanette. That's really awesome. So you discussed how you have issues with your family coming up with the holidays, and you mentioned how you have dissatisfaction with your job. And you also mentioned how you feel like it's difficult for you to trust other people in a relationship because of your parents' example. Is there anything you want to focus on today in our session?
I mean, my family, I guess.
Okay.
I guess maybe I'm wondering if I'm too overly sensitive to how my own children are behaving, because I don't want them to grow up the way that I did. So part of me is wondering if I'm overly sensitive to how they treat each other, or if it's just normal that they're treating each other the way they are. And so sometimes I overreact to it. Or I don't know, maybe I don't. And I don't know.
Yeah. So Jeanette, tell me a little bit more about that, about your relationship with your kids.
I mean, for the most part, it's good. My older one definitely has an attitude. So we clash sometimes. But she's definitely got sass. And she can be pretty mean. Towards the younger two, and towards me, she'll get pretty sassy, and sometimes we feed off of it. We feed off of each other, each other's sassiness. So it's a little tricky sometimes because I don't know what to do about it, and she doesn't always listen to me for, when I try to stop her from calling the younger ones names, or like outright hitting or punching or kicking, or and the other two as well. I mean, it's just, they fight, but I don't know.
Yeah.
If it's just normal fighting, or And I know they see my siblings and my parents fighting as well, so they, I don't know. I don't want them to have that example, but I mean, I can't ever not bring them around my family. But I mean, I do protect them from what I can. But
okay. So Jeanette, I have a hunch. Okay, now you can tell me if this is totally off the wall and not right, but I have a feeling that the conflict from your parents and having that familial conflict has transferred a little bit into your relationship with your children. However, I can see that you definitely want to do something about that. Is that...
Oh, that's totally, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I guess I need maybe some steps that I can take to control my frustration in how I'm responding, because I'll get frustrated and angry and yell, and I don't want to do that, because that's no way that I want to talk to my kids or have memories of them, or have them have memories of me yelling at them, and I want them to have a peaceful home and feel loved and treasured, and so that's a great goal, Jeanette. And just the fact, again, that you can see the dysfunction in your relationship with the parents, and you can see that you want to do something better for your kids, that's really great, and that definitely is a huge strength in you. So I just, again, want to commend you for that. That's really, really healthy. Now, on the one hand, you mentioned how there is definitely a lot of conflict with your kids, and then on the other hand, you mentioned how you experience some frustrations as well. So can you kind of tell me where those two fit together? You mean the frustrations with my kids?
Yeah.
Well, just them not listening to me.
Okay.
You know, when I say for them to stop fighting or stop hurting each other or calling each other names, and them just not listening, which, I mean, sure, some of it is normal, you know, that they would just be in the moment of feeling their, whatever, anger, that they would just not really listen to what mom's saying about stopping, but, so that's frustrating when they don't stop, and then I actually have to physically get in between, you know, kicking children or whatever, so.
Yeah. Are there frustrations always at each other, or are there other things going on?
Well, it's definitely at each other. They'll be, you know, oh, she took my toy, or she's using my pen, or things like that. But I also think that it comes, other things factoring into how it comes, you know, how whatever they're dealing with inside, that's just how it's coming out, is in anger and things like that.
Okay. Now, is their father in the picture?
He's in the picture, yeah. He's not the best influence on them.
Okay.
You know, just little things that I hear coming back from Dad's house. It's not the greatest, and so, you know, that's also a factor of like, okay, well, how is that playing into how their behavior is, and yeah.
Absolutely. So we've discussed a lot about familial conflict and problems and frustrations. What is the main thing that you would like to work towards? What is a good goal that we could have to kind of balance that?
I think for me, I would want to be just a more peaceful person.
Okay.
Because then that's going to affect how I relate to my family and also my children. So,
okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's a great goal, Jeanette. Being able to identify that you definitely need more peace in your life, and you know, that is really great. And that definitely shows emotional intelligence. So that's really very intelligent on your part. So within that goal, what do you think some steps are that we could take to reach those goals? So what I want to do now is I just want to take a minute and kind of brainstorm some ideas. All right. So what our goal is we're going to go ahead and develop greater tranquility or peace within yourself. How does that sound?
Good.
Okay. Would you like to modify that at all, or?
No, I think that's good.
Okay. All right. Okay, so we're going to go ahead, like I said, come up with ideas. What are some things that you could do throughout your week or during the time in between our sessions that could help promote tranquility within yourself?
I think for me, alone time.
Okay. That's a great idea.
I'm definitely the personality where I need that. Otherwise, I'm not patient and I'm not able to handle things as well.
Okay.
So definitely alone time would be good.
Now, chocolate?
Chocolate,
Okay. That's always a great option.
Doesn't that always fix everything?
That would be very nice. Okay, so I'm going to throw this out there. You can let me know if this is totally off the wall, but what about spending 15 minutes alone every day?
That'd be awesome.
Okay. Can you think of anything else, Jeanette?
Taking a yoga class would be really fun too. And that
Absolutely.
definitely promotes more of a peaceful, calming, I don't know.
Presence?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. Let's see. Can you think of any more ideas?
Exercise. Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Exercising is great. How about going to live in a monastery for a month? It's very off the wall.
yeah, it's off the wall.
But it doesn't matter. We can do any idea we would like, so I'm going to put that down. What are some other ideas?
I love going to the beach. It's always peaceful and relaxing in the sun.
Mm-hmm. Okay. These are some great ideas. Do you think there's one that might specifically stand out as something that you could do, maybe even this week, to help promote that inner tranquility?
Probably alone time.
Okay.
Good.
All right. How specifically could you spend some alone time this week?
I think probably putting the kids to bed earlier maybe,
Okay.
would be helpful.
Yeah, that's a great idea. All right, so what if, now tell me how this sounds and we can work on it, but what if at least one night this week you put the kids to bed an hour early? That would give you an hour of alone time. How does that sound?
Awesome.
Sounds awesome. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay, I'm just going to write that down. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and do that. Is there a specific night that works better to do that?
Probably Tuesday night.
Okay. Tuesday night. And then after you do that, I want you to find a journal and write how that went and how you felt after that. And then when we come back next week, we can go ahead and discuss how that went and see if it was helpful or if we need to figure something out. But we can just talk about that next week. How does that sound?
Good.
Okay. Now, I have a feeling or a hunch that you were explaining how there's a lot of things going on in your life with family and working 2 jobs. I have a feeling that you can tell me if this is totally off, but that if you try to spend some time alone, somebody is going to go ahead and try to take up your time. Does that?
No, that sounds real. Yeah, that sounds like it's a good possibility.
Okay. Is there a likelihood of something or someone taking up your time?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any idea of who that would be?
Yes, I have a neighbor.
Oh.
She's super friendly and I love her to pieces, but She's over a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not always the best time.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a really hard time with telling people no
Mm-hmm.
and like kicking people out my door.
Mm-hmm.
So, not that I want to kick them, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
But just so yeah.
Okay. All right. So I think it'd actually be really good to practice telling someone no, so that you can really spend that time to focus on yourself. All right. So I'm going to be your neighbor. All right. And you can be you. So first off, how is your neighbor?
She's really bubbly and she's
Really
very
bubbly?
persistent.
Okay. All right. Excuse me. Okay. Knock, knock, knock.
Hi.
Hi, Jeanette. I was just wondering if you would like to talk.
I would love to talk, but I'm actually in the middle of something, and would you be able to do another time?
I really, really just want to tell you something.
Well, I can get back to you in an hour, or I have the morning available.
But I really need to tell you this.
I'm really sorry, I can't. I can't reschedule what I'm planning.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll come over tomorrow then.
Okay. I'll see you in the morning.
Okay. That's great. That was definitely some great practice of what you could do and what you could say to someone who might want to talk. And I think that'll really help ensure that you really do get that time so that you can do some really self-focus and spend some time alone. All right. So we only have 5 minutes left. Okay, Jeanette? We made some great progress in this session. We talked about a lot of struggles that are going on in your family, as well as with your jobs, and we also discussed helping you experience more tranquility as a person, so that you don't be frustrated with your children. And I think we definitely made some great progress. How do you feel today's session went?
Good.
Awesome. If there's anything else you'd like to discuss or something you'd like to highlight more, just go ahead and bring it up next week, and we can go ahead and tackle it then. Now, for this week, we're going to go ahead and you're going to put the kids to bed early for one night, on Tuesday night, and then you're going to spend some time alone, and then you'll write it down, and we'll talk about it next week. And see how it went, if we need to change something up, that type of thing. Does next Tuesday at 3:45 work for the session? Okay. All right. Jeanette, you definitely showed me a lot of emotional intelligence that you have. You could definitely identify what was going on with your parents, and you really showed that you really care about your kids by wanting to be a better parent for them, and that's great. I really definitely see that as a strength in you. So I just commend you for that.
Thanks.
Great. Thank you for coming to see me today, Jeanette. I really enjoyed our time together, and I look forward to seeing you next week.